something like that. So on this KOE, it has a 1/2 inch wheel arbor, and most of our grinding wheels are 1 1/4 inch. So we make these little bushings, just kind of fit in here, one way or another. So when they're nice and straight, they'll fit right in there. And then we slide that on there, right on there, and then we indicate it to make sure that it's not running out too much. We don't want to overdress. So the wheels that we select to dress with are usually aluminum oxide, and they come in different grits and whatnot, depending on the wheel we're using. So this 80 grit here is best for the harder wheels, like in the 320 grit diamond wheels and stuff like that. This one here is like 100 grit, which is really good for 220 grit diamond wheels, a standard all-purpose one. And then these little guys here are what we use on our homemade hand dressing units. So basically, you know, you guys all have your spinners and everything. So it's just just a bearing in there on a shaft. So we just turn this handle. You can see the shaft turning in there, and make a couple cap screws, put it together, and then we can use this to hand dress, like I'll show you in a little bit. And then this is the brake dresser. So this is a standard Norton brake dresser, and you just mount your regular dressing wheel on there, and then you mount it to the table one way or another, and you dress it. You can also use these brake dressers on a surface grinder, and just turn the magnet on, and that will hold the brake dresser down, and you can dress your diamond wheel like if you were in a surface grinder. So you'd have your dressing wheel like that, and so you just traverse, and the wheel would spin, and it just spins at the speed of the diamond wheel. You can also adjust it. There's an adjustment here to slow it down, to give it more, so it takes more torque, so it doesn't spin as fast as the wheel makes it spin. So now I'm going to go ahead and set up this wheel to dress it straight. Okay, so now you see I have the wheel on there, and I just have the nut real loose, and I have a little indicator stand and a 5/10 indicator on there, and I have the back side of the ball on the diamond wheel. Now the reason I have the back side of the ball on there is because usually in this shop, when we measure run out or something on a blank for a cutter, we usually use the inside of the ball. And so if by using the back side of the ball, we're only ruining that side of the indicator stem, because as we rotate the wheel to find the run out, we're going to be basically grinding a flat on the stem. So this kind of saves ruining the stem, which we replace all the time anyway, but still anyway. So now I'm going to kind of show you how I just kind of manually bump that thing in there to try and get it running true. It doesn't have to be perfect, but maybe you can tell what's going on. So again, this is loose. So as I rotate that, you can see the needle's not moving too bad. Let's see, now I push it. When I first put it on, it was kind of like this. So you just, you know, half the distance. And you get it to where it's not moving very much, and that's good enough. And then you snug it up. You gotta do it careful so it doesn't break loose. And then now it's not too bad. A couple thou, or even it is going to dress right off of there. So there you go. It's actually less than a thou. Anyway, so now the wheel's mounted onto the KOE, and I'll be able to mount my wheel dresser, the brake. Okay, so now you see I mounted the brake dresser onto basically a pedestal that we made, because what happens is you see the boot here is almost all the way compressed. That means the knee or the spindle head, the work head, is about as low as it can go. And you want to typically have the center lines of the wheel, the brake dresser, and the wheel you're dressing close to the same spot, with this being a little bit lower, because the wheel's going to be going that way. And just like if you were grinding on a bench grinder, you always want the part, if something were to happen, to go down and not through the wheel. So you wouldn't want to dress up here. You want to either dress in the middle or just below it. But as you change the center line of this, you lose the ratio. In other words, right now, if we dial in 1/1000th or 2, we're going to take off. We're actually moving in that much. But if this wheel were down here somewhere and we loosen this nut and we adjust the swivel on the wheel head, say we wanted to grind address a 45 or a 15 degree or something on this side of the wheel, and we're below the wheel, then we're not going to get an actual 15 degree, and we're not actually going to be moving in 1 when we dial in 1. So the closer you are to straight on and in the right location height-wise, then the closer you're going to get what you want on your wheel. So now that that's mounted, I'm going to go ahead and dress it up nice and clean. One more thing, if you're dressing wheels, you want to have suction. You hear that? So you want to have some suction back there so that you don't have to breathe in all this junk. And that suction is going up there through the roof and all the way over to the smog hog, which leads outside to a bunch of filter canisters that get changed out. One more thing. So the technique basically is we're going to move the table in Y back and forth and basically traverse it with this handle. And then we're going to be in-feeding at the same time. And that way it allows the wheel to keep spinning, because if we stop moving the table in either direction, then it'll just stop moving, and then it'll want to when it touches the wheel again, it'll want to rip through. So it's kind of a little dance, you know. So you're moving this and you're dialing in that, but you probably won't be able to see that because I'm going to have us pretty close to the wheel here. Okay, so now I'm going to locate the wheels close to the dresser. So now that I'm close to the wheel, I'm going to just kind of spin the wheel like that until I touch the wheel. So as you can see, the wheel is only dressing up on that far corner. And it's not because this is crooked, it's because the wheel has been beat to heck. So basically I'm in-feeding and traversing at the same time. I'm in-feeding probably about 1,000ths or less with each pass. The faster you traverse in X, the faster you can move in Y. And the way you know you're going too fast is that terrible sound of bearings and wheels making lots of racket. You don't want the wheel to spin too fast, the dressing wheel. So if you in-feed too much at once, then you can really start hearing the bearings sing. So it's just kind of a little dance here to figure out how much you can move in and traverse at the same time. And I'm moving in on both sides, so one side of the wheel, and in other words, when I get off the wheel on the right or left, I'm in-feeding, because I have a lot of material to take off. Sometimes you have to be more specific as to whether you're going to in-feed on one side or the other, depending on what kind of grinding job you're doing. Alright, so right now the wheel is pretty straight, pretty flat, so I'm going to just kind of do some spark out passes. You can see the wheel's slowing down, the dressing wheel's slowing down. I'm just barely moving a couple tenths at a time, and now I'm not even moving in. I'm going to do it until almost till the wheel stops. That'll give you the finest finish on your diamond wheel. Okay, so now that we did that, I'll show you can see how nice the wheel is now and smooth. So a lot of other things people are asking me, they're saying, well, can you show us truing and dressing? Well, you know, the wheel's true now, and it's also dressed. It's almost impossible to do one without the other, in my opinion. There may be other ways. But there's also, like, dressing, basically, it doesn't only get the wheel nice and flat or whatever you're trying to do to it, but it also exposes the diamond. Because remember, a diamond wheel is a composite of a bonding material, where it could be resin, it could be steel, there's lots of different kind of bonding materials, and then it has diamond flecks, diamond crust, diamond dust in there, and the dressing exposes the diamond, and the diamond is what's actually grinding your carbide. Another way to do that real quick without actually changing the form of the wheel is by using these what they call dressing sticks. So this is also I think it's aluminum oxide also, but they're very fine, and you can see they just break down immediately, and they don't really take any material off of the wheel. They just kind of expose the diamond. So like, in other words, if you were grinding a bunch of carbide, the carbide gets inside of the wheel, you know, it loads up because it's porous, and then if you use one of these, then that will kind of get that carbide out and expose the diamond without actually changing the form of your wheel. Okay, so if I wanted to dress an angle on this machine, you just loosen this nut here, and then you can swivel this workhead. So say I wanted to put a 30-degree angle on this wheel, then I just tighten this guy here, and I'd probably have to move my dresser, bring it out, but at any rate, so then I just traverse, and I can put an angle on there that's very precise. You know, if I was relieving, say, an end mill or something like that, and I wanted it to have some clearance and not just a shoulder. Okay, so then, let's see. Okay, so next, let's say I wanted to use this here, and I just wanted to, I could dress some dish on this wheel if I want this outside diameter edge to be high, and you just do that by hand. So you see, hopefully you could see it in the video how it kind of come up from the bottom there close to the ID and then came out. So now it's got, you know, several degrees of dish, so that edge is high. And if I wanted to dress, let's see. So you see that this here, I didn't make it totally sharp when I dressed the wheel. But if I want to dress a radius or something on here by just hand draw, I could do that also. So let's see if I can show you how I would do that. At any rate, basically, you could just do this here. I don't know if you can see that. So now, the wheel has a radius. I'm trying to use my hand to show you the radius, but I'm having a hard time doing it. At any rate, now it has a radius. Alright. So if anybody's wondering how, one of the ways I relieve, so this wheel's aluminum body, and you see it's been turned down. This is a little deal we use, we made, and we just mount the wheel right to it, and then put it in the chucker or something like that, in a little lathe, and that way we can quickly just turn the face of the wheels down to relieve it so I can dress it. So that's pretty much it. These KOEs are great for this kind of stuff. You know, if you're really careful in how you indicate this, you can take it off this machine, put it on another machine, and indicate it to a couple of tenths, and it'll run really nice and true. If you're trying to remove a lot of material, you don't want your wheel to be perfectly true, because then it just takes longer. It's like a fine grit, you know. If it has a little bit of run out, it's going to actually cut a lot freer, and it won't be too bad as far as finish either. So hopefully this helped everybody, and we'll see you all later.